Welcome to my channel, Inspiring Dreams. I am so excited to be starting this. I was kind of nervous a little bit, but I feel like I wanted to be able to talk about my publishing company, talk about my book, and also talk about what I can do to assist other authors. And that'll be kind of the meat and potatoes of this channel. We'll talk about some of the coaching strategies I use to assist other authors with writing their books. We'll also talk about writing in general when you're stuck, different things that you can do to kind of get out of that. And we'll also talk about publishing. I am a self-publishing company, so we will talk about self-publishing, but we'll also talk about publishing when it comes to Amazon, going through Amazon Kindle or KDP to publish, as well as a traditional publishing house, just so you can make sure that you're choosing the right publishing for you. So we'll definitely talk about that, as long as you subscribe and also have that notification on so you know when I post a new video. Myself, I am actually a self-publisher of a children's book called Jakobi and Me. This is my book, and it is about my two sons, Jakobi and Amir. Jakobi is the baby. Amir is the oldest. And I kind of just want to talk about what I did when I published my book, and also what kind of made me start Inspiring Dreams as well, and everything going forward. This is kind of like an introduction. So everything going forward, we'll be just kind of diving deep into that. So with the Inspiring Dreams Publishing, something that made me start my business is because when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I was Googling stuff and I was just like, oh, you know what? This is what I want to do. But I didn't really have any guidance on exactly what to do. So I ended up getting a coach. And when I think about it now, I'm just like, wow, I paid this lady a lot of money. And you know how when you look back at something and you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, like, what did I get for the money that I spent? Because I did most of the work myself. That was something that I kind of went through a lot, and I wanted to create something where we have integrity. I work for you. So when you hire me to assist you with coaching, or even if it's just an author service, then that's something that I will be able to actually give you my attention. And I didn't necessarily get that, and I spent a whole lot of money to do it. But what I know now, if I would have known then, I wouldn't have went specifically that route. So now I'm just so happy that I've learned all the things that I learned, and it's so important to me to be able to assist other authors so they can miss all of that extra stuff and spending unnecessary money, allowing you to have a chance to decide what it is that you want to do instead of trying to sway you to do something else. Like, you won't get that from me. So that is a quick backstory. Of course, there's so much more. And as we build this relationship and I start to make more videos, then of course I will go into detail a lot more. But I do not want to bore you all. So I kind of want to talk about my process that I went through, even with using a coach. And in the upcoming videos, I'll really be breaking those things down on what to do, how to do it, and just talking about how I can assist you. Maybe you want to write a book and you're not sure where to start. We also offer coaching, but it's very, very hands-on. With Inspiring Dreams, the biggest thing for me was I basically teach you how to self-publish your book. So you own 100% of your 100% of your rights to your book, and everything is yours. I just want to be able to assist you with initially getting it off of the ground. And once it's off of the ground, then it's like you don't need me anymore. That's the whole thing with Inspiring Dreams. I want to teach you to fish, and with that, you'll fish and eat forever. I'm not trying to do all the work for you. And then when you don't have me, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? What do I do next? You may want to publish 5 books. This one initial thing that you get with me, I want you to be able to use those tools and resources to publish your book. And the only reason that you would have to come back to Inspiring Dreams is if you needed beta reading or alpha reading or editing or something like that. And also, if you're not sure what beta and alpha reading is, we will also make some videos talking about those 2 things, because it's super, super, super good to use for your book, especially when you're writing a novel. So yeah, we'll also talk about that. So back to Jakobi and Me. So Jakobi and Me is, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with it all the way. I just knew I wanted to write a book and I wanted to talk about bringing awareness to my son's condition. But I really wasn't sure what route I was going to go initially. And then I am a woman of God, and certain things just come to me. And when they come to me, I listen, I pay attention, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write a children's book. Now, I don't write the traditional way to where, some people do outlines. Outlines are great. I have done that, but I'm more so freestyle, and then I put everything in place and edit as I go through and reread it. So it's multiple ways that you can be a writer and different type of writer. So we'll talk about that as well. But with Jakobi and Me, it was a little different. I just kind of was like, I want to write a book, but I knew I didn't want it to be a book for like adults. And I knew I wanted to bring awareness to my son's condition. So my process was figuring out different angles. Do I want to tell the story? Do I want it to be in first person? Like, it was so many different things that I was doing to actually come up with the book. And ultimately, I ended up telling the story from my oldest son's perspective. And that was the best thing that I could have done. And when I did it like that, it just made everything make so much sense. So my process was, I wrote everything out, and then I honestly, when writing a children's book, so children's books, of course, are a lot different than like if you're writing a novel. But with children's books, it's the illustrations. The illustrations, trying to find a good illustrator, when you don't know where to go, it can be a little difficult, but I had one of the best illustrators, and she did everything perfect. So I would say for me, I actually wrote out my pages first. That's the route that I went. And once I wrote out my pages, I was like, okay, I need to find an editor. I didn't know. Again, one of those things where you're like, okay, where do I get an editor from? Which is why, again, I started Inspiring Dreams, because I want to be kind of like a one-stop shop. So I was like, dang, where do I find an editor? So the person who was my coach, she recommended me to somebody, but it was a hurricane or something going on in Florida, so she couldn't do it. So then she recommended me to someone else. So I kind of felt like, okay, I'm getting a runaround. And of course, it didn't take a lot to edit my book, of course, because it is a children's book. However, I still wanted any type of grammatical issues to be taken care of. So I was able to do that, but I really did bounce from like editor to editor because of something that they had going on, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what to do. So I did the editing part. Once I got the editing done, I went to my illustrator, and that part wasn't really that bad. It took a nice amount of time. I would say a decent amount of time to get that done. Also, I had to do my ISBN, which I wasn't even sure what that was at first. So we'll also talk about that, just to let you know what you can look forward to. So I did that process, and the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest things as well, is finding somewhere who's going to print my book. What do you do when you want your book printed? And my book is I believe it is 8.5 by 8.5. That's what mine was, because I wanted it to be a perfect square. I didn't really want landscape. So trying to figure out the sizes of the book, something that I did was I went into Barnes and Noble, and I looked at books and I looked at pictures. Like, did I want them to look exactly like my son's? Did I want it to look like that? Or you know how sometimes you can make something look like a cartoon? So I was kind of stuck between the two, but ultimately it ended up looking like them. So the Illustrator part was not bad. The hardest part for me, or not hard, frustrating, was printing. Oh my gosh. So my books are printed through Ingram Spark. I love Ingram, and this is not sponsored by Ingram or anything like that, but I love Ingram Spark. I've never had a problem with them, other than initially because I wasn't sure exactly what to do or what I was doing. But Ingram Spark was really good. It's just so many different things, like your trim, making sure you have enough space for bleeds, making sure that your book isn't like cut off. Oh my gosh, I was like, this book is never going to get printed because what is happening? But again, it was a first time thing, and when you don't really know what to do, you just kind of hop out there. I just didn't know. So that happened. Then the first time I got my print, because you have to kind of like look at proofs, I wasn't sure how to read them. So the funny thing is, the book that I have here is one of the messed up copies. And like, this page is supposed to be on another page. So none of the pages like were matching. Like, there's no words on here. So that was something that I wasn't sure of. And again, I did have somebody who was supposed to be my coach. However, yeah, had to do it the hard way. So yeah, that part was super, super crazy with trying to get the book printed because of all the minute things that you just don't know about. And then I got my final copy of the book, which, oh my gosh, like tears of joy, because that's a huge accomplishment. So I got that. And once I did that, and I think what a lot of self-publishers do is, it's not a game plan afterwards. The marketing part is so important when it comes to the success of your book. I cannot stress that enough. Having a book is all good. Like, you know, like, clap it up. That's amazing. But if you don't have a strategy for what to do after you publish your book, it's a wrap. Because like, who's buying your book if you're not marketing it? So I had a plan, though. I always have a plan. So I did a bunch of podcasts. I actually was featured in the special needs newsletter that goes out in the area that I live in. So the marketing part went really, really well. So I was super excited. I was super excited about that. And with Inspiring Dreams, everything that I kind of like tripped over and fumbled and wasn't super certain of, I make sure that my clients have that. I make sure that the people I talk to know about that, know about your brand, know about your target audience. So that is, that's a quick little, about me, about my book, about the publishing company. And going forward, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about the in and outs of everything that I kind of talked about now, previously in this video. I just kind of wanted to introduce myself to you all and let you know that Inspiring Dreams is your go-to place when it comes to publishing and just getting the resources that you need so your book is successful. So I am going to end the video here, but I will be posting, so make sure you subscribe, guys. Subscribe to the channel, cut the notifications on, and I promise you I will not disappoint you at all. And then what else? Oh, I'll put all the links in the description of where you can find us, my website. If you do want to set up a consultation, we can do all of that. But thank you guys for watching, and I am looking forward to our next video.